So, I could say, well, if you want to organize your psyche, you could start by organizing your room.
I was gonna clean my room, but then I got high. Ba-da-da-ba-ba-ba-ba.
So, you go clean up under your bed and you make your bed and you organize the papers on your desk.
Was gonna get up and find the broom, but then I got high. Ba-da-da-ba-ba-ba-ba.
Can you think, well, just exactly what are you organizing? Are you organizing the objective world, or are you organizing your field of being, like your field of total experience?
My room is still messed up, and I know why. Because I got high. Because I got high. Because I got high.
The president has now pardoned all people with a marijuana conviction, with marijuana possession under federal law. And he is also urging governors to pardon those convicted of state charges, which make up for the vast majority of convictions. The president is also ordering his administration to review how marijuana is classified, saying that it makes no sense that it is a Schedule I drug in the same class as heroin and LSD. But David, the big picture here, this is an important first step towards decriminalization.
The U.S. Army is struggling to recruit as most of Gen Z is ineligible to serve due to factors like obesity, drug use, and tattoos.
This is Anna, and you're watching Anna Speaks Out.
So the Biden administration has been taking steps towards the federal legalization of marijuana. And this is kind of surreal for me because just over a year ago, I would have been probably celebrating this. I would have been thinking, at least one good thing came out of the Biden administration. But thank God, just a few weeks before I realized that I was pregnant with my son, who is now 6 months old, I was convicted to stop using marijuana. And then, I found out I was pregnant a few weeks later, and I was like, wow, this seems like a divine intervention from God, because my baby was spared from any negative effects that could have come upon him from being exposed to marijuana in the womb. And just FYI, for any new people who are not aware, I live in California, so, it's been legal for a while. But I do have mixed feelings on this. I kind of think that it makes sense that if somebody simply was in possession of marijuana, we shouldn't really be wasting our resources to put them in jail or prison. But at the same time, it seems wrong to just allow anybody to just have it or use it, because even if you don't catch them selling it to minors or even giving it to minors because they think that they're being nice or whatever, it doesn't mean it's not happening. And that could really negatively impact a young person's life. It could totally steal from the positive choices they might have made and good opportunities they would have had for their future that they gave up on because they're too distracted at using marijuana and just being sort of placated by it to the point that they don't really feel motivated to do too much else. It definitely did that for me at times. And I know that some people would say, as my argument used to be, that this is a plant that God created, and how can it actually be bad for us? But my understanding there is that the original plant, back whenever people started using it, was completely different and way less intense of a high than what we have nowadays. And it's just really turned into a pretty intense drug. It can have pretty intense effects if you use the, high enough amounts. So, maybe if we had never messed with it, maybe it wouldn't really be such a big deal. I don't know. I was never there for the original version of it. But at the point where it has gotten now with human intervention, I really don't think that anybody should be using it. And according to the Business Insider article that I featured at the beginning, 8% of recent would-be military recruits have been disqualified due to drug and alcohol abuse. And North Carolina Senator Tom Tillis said at an April hearing, "To put it bluntly, I'm worried that we are now in the early days of a long-term threat to the all-volunteer force, with a small and declining number of Americans who are eligible and interested in military service." Selective Service on USA.gov just stated on June 21st of this year, 2022, that the United States military has been all volunteer since 1973, but an act of Congress could still reinstate the draft in case of a national emergency. And with the way that things have been going recently with Russia and Ukraine and now North and South Korea, and the fact that the United States has been having involvement with all of these things, is making the possibility of a draft seem a little bit more likely, which I'm sure that nobody would really be excited about. Now, I know that the way that the US government utilizes the military is maybe even more often than not really the most honorable. A lot of the time it's really more for selfish gain than anything else, so I can see that being another reason why people might not be interested in joining. But the reality still remains that if we have a weak military or hardly a military at all, we are going to be that much more vulnerable as a country. So just some things to think about. Please let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Thank you again so much for being here today. Since you liked the video enough to make it all the way to the end, don't forget to click the thumbs up and share with somebody else who would also find it interesting. Leave your comments below and we'll all have a conversation. And if you really enjoyed it, check out the description for several different ways that you can support what I do here. Have a wonderful night, afternoon, morning, evening, whatever time zone you are in. And I'll see you next time. Bye.